And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. And we're having conversations all around sports and the competitions that are happening around. And this time around, we're joined by two young Kenyans and also the president of a sporting federation. I'll start on my immediate right. We've got Olive Ali, who is a Scrabble player. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and currently she's a student. She's a university student at the moment, but played out through high school. And on her way back to school, we've got Vanessa. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So, najua leo you're going to be the most famous person from the meet and break.
Yeah.
Okay, and also we've got Limu Kipkemoi, who's the president of Scrabble Kenya. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's just take a look at where the sport is at the moment. From the conversations we've had over the past 1 year, before we actually talk about the competitions that are coming up in the next 2 months.
Thank you for having us here once more, and you've always been supporting us. Scrabble is getting bigger by the day. Only this year, just to reflect on this year, Kenya has hosted East, Central, and Southern Africa Championship here in Nairobi, which was in April. This coming weekend, we'll be having the biggest congregation of youth Scrabblers in the continent, the National Youth Scrabble Championship. Mm-hmm. We anticipate to have about between 400 and 500 under 18 and under 15 students playing Scrabble. Later in the year, in August, we have African Youth Scrabble Championship. Again, Kenya got a bid and got to host. So we'll be hosting the event at Brighton International Academy. We expect, currently we have confirmed about 16 African nations taking part. Mm-hmm. Later in the year, we have the World English Scrabble Player Association. That's an international tournament. We shall be in Ghana, Accra. And as usual, that attracts players from all over the world. So that's just the Scrabble scene in 2025. So Scrabble is a big thing right now.
Well, and here you've mentioned, about the East and Central African, championship. Yeah. What was the outcome, especially for the Kenyan side, because it sets the foundation for the Africa Youth Scrabble Championships coming later?
So Kenya, of course, dominated, and we won the trophy. And I can also proudly say that Kenya had the biggest contingent of young players taking part in the East Central and Southern Africa Championship. And also on average, right now, in the entire continent, we have the youngest Scrabbling generation. Mm-hmm. Whereby if you come, like the last tournament you played in Murang'a, last weekend, a national championship, I think I would say over half were people below 25 years. And that paints a very good picture for us, both local and globally. Because in other countries, you're talking about average age of Scrabble being 40 years plus. But that is not by accident. It's because as a federation, we've really invested in the young players. And that's why you see the likes of Vanessa and Olive. Olive started playing Scrabble at high school. She represented a school in Nigeria some time back. Same for her in Sri Lanka, where she represented the country in the World Youth Scrabble Championship. So we're trying to take Scrabble back to mashinani and also back to the schools, so to build a solid base from a younger generation. And then if you look back internationally or globally, about 2 or 3 world champions were actually youth champions. So we're going back now to raise the standards and both quality and quantity at the junior level, so that they can feed back to the national programs.
Very good. Now, Vanessa.
Yes.
Tell us the Sri Lanka story. That's the last time you were here was before you went to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
So just tell us about, that event and the kind of exposure, you got from seeing players from from other parts of the world. Africa, there is always some similarity, but what do you saw out there?
When we participated in the World Youth Scrabble Championships, it was a very fun experience, per se. We got to interact with people from different countries. We had Nigerians, we had people from Thailand, we had the Black Indians from Sri Lanka, and it was a very nice experience. We got to learn about their culture. Like, they did this dance, the welcoming ceremony, yeah? They did this dance, which was actually pretty cool, and yeah.
You learned how to do it.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So, having mentioned that, the sports, how did you see the rest of the world playing?
Okay, Scrabble is outside there. It's a very competitive game, because, like, for example, the whites that we played, people from Canada, they are pretty good. Like, they are very good at the game. They are super competitive, but I mean, we can defeat them. If you just read those cheat sheets and stuff, they're not super competitive, but they are pretty good.
Okay. What is it about the cheat sheets that you have seen?
Oh, okay. So cheat sheets are like a paper that has valid Scrabble words that you play on the board. And there are some pretty weird words like CWM. CWM consists of vowels, and it's a weird word because when you play CWM, somebody thinks that you're mad. Like, they think it's an invalid word because what do you mean you're playing CWM? And then, like, they challenge, and then, like, you get to learn new words that are not common. They are rare words. Yeah.
And I thought that rhythm is the only word in English that is all consonants, no vowels. Okay. Now, Olive, let me come to you. And, you know, your high school experiences and also having played in Nigeria, just give us the background.
So for the Nigeria tournament, we had to qualify for the nationals first. I remember we were so tense. We didn't know if we were going to qualify. And then we fortunately managed to qualify, and our school team took us to Nigeria. And I have to say that was the best Scrabble experience I've ever had. I can confirm that, yeah, indeed, as Vanessa has said, the international players, they're really good, especially Nigerians. They can make you sweat on that board.
Okay, when you just take a look, let's mention, you know, the nationals,
yeah,
and how competitive the Kenyan scene is, such that eventually your high school, I mean, if your alma mater, Kabare, you know, eventually topping that and represent the country. How did you find the local scene before you even tell us about why the Nigerians make somebody, you know, work hard on the board?
Well, originally, our school was already known for its Scrabble prowess. So when I joined the team, I already had good players to learn from. Yeah, so it's like having a mentor there. You get to learn from the better players. Kabare already had a really strong team. And I can say also the other schools were really competitive. Schools like Moimbiruri, her school, Kahuhia, Mugweri Girls, they have really, really good players. So we used to organize like the home tournament.
Okay.
Yeah, home tournament. You go and play in those schools. You get to learn from the other players. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Nigeria. What makes the Nigerians now a whole different lot?
I have no idea how they're learning those words, but you play a Nigerian, they just play the craziest word you've ever seen. You challenge it, it's valid. You wonder how these people know all these words, how they have all this strategy. But I can say it was a really nice learning experience.
CWN is the word she told us.
Yes, WM.
CWM. How do you even pronounce that?
CWM, like CW and an M.
Okay, that sounds Welsh. So which is the craziest word that you came across?
I guess at that time, somebody played for me, it's Sadiq. Yeah, TZADDIK. Yeah, and they challenged it because what kind of word is that? It's an actual Scrabble word. Yeah.
So, cheat sheets, did you have one, or do you have?
Yeah. We used to study with those cheat sheets. they have words with, they usually organize it as probability. The most playable words you can find on your rack. Like they arrange them with probability such that, okay, if you, sometimes when you pick the letters from the bag, you get the tiles which you're most likely to play those words that are on those tiles. So those cheat sheets contain the words you will most likely find on your rack. Yeah, so it's easier to manage your rack and play those words when you have those cheat sheets.
President, let me come to you, because now this is where it comes in interesting, and so that people just get the whole background. The people play these sports, but they're hearing us using the word cheat sheet. Basically, Mwakenya. It's basically a Mwakenya for the sport. Just give us, how it works and how far you can go with one.
So there are many. If you look at the Scrabble dictionary, even the English dictionary, there's so many ones. Perhaps up to 40,000 or 50,000. It might not be easy to go through a dictionary, each of those words, and remember them. So what happens is some clever guys in the Scrabble scene have come up with ways of trying to memorize as many words as you know. So that's what they're referring to a cheat sheet. For example, you want to know all the words that have the letter Z, say from 1 to 4 letters. So they come up with a list of words that have Z. So you can study them and know that between 2 letters to 4 letters, I know all the words that have a Z. So that's basically what a cheat sheet is. Of course, you're not allowed to use it while playing in the tournament, but it helps you when you're studying. The interesting thing about this conversation is these students are already talking about cheat sheets in high school or in early campus, or like both of them learned these in high school. Most players actually started learning Scrabble either in university or after university. So it means the penetration of Scrabble is now higher because they're learning these things in high school. So by the time they get to university, they just get absorbed to Scrabble clubs and they can start being competitive. You're not teaching them the basics anymore. They already know the basics.
All right. Yeah. So now coming up to, let's first, before we talk about the Africa Youth Championships, the President's Cup, just give us an idea about it.
Yeah, so I'll take it back just slightly. So locally, Scrabble Kenya is a body that governs the growth and the management of the game. Regionally, there is Pan-African Scrabble Association. That's the body that governs Scrabble within the continent. And we have many nations. There is English wing, and there's also the French. Courtesy of our current president, Adekoejo, we've been trying to merge, to bring on board Scrabble in French and English. As recent as last week, I had a presentation with the Congolese Scrabble players, because Congo also has French and English players. So the President's Cup was a brainchild of Pan-African Scrabble Association under the stewardship of Adekoejo. So the first edition was played in Nigeria. Which town was that?
Which one? Ibadan,
I forgot which town was in Nigeria.
I don't remember.
I've forgotten the
Calabar, Port Harcourt.
It was not Abuja. The other one, Lagos. Sorry,
Lagos.
I was trying to look for that. Yeah, I watched too many Nigerian movies. Yeah, so it was in Lagos, the first edition. Of course, won by Nigerians, and as they say, the reason why Nigerians are the best, not in Africa but in the world, I think for 4 years in a row, is because in Nigeria, Scrabble is already an earning sport.
So they've
commercialized it.
Fully professional.
They've commercialized. In this sense, their tournaments attract big money, as much as $1 million shillings for a tournament. Secondly, the coaching is commercialized. So the regions, like the states in Nigeria, like what you have as counties here, so they actually have state coaches. So people are on salary, on permanent salary, to teach Scrabble. So that's a player who, when I interact with some of them, like the previous world champ, Jigere, he says he plays on the minimum 20 games in a day, as he coaches and as he also practices. So that's why they've gone to that level where we are trying to catch up as Kenya, because Kenya is always playing second to Nigeria when it comes to Africa. and the rest of the world is playing to catch Nigeria. So they are that good. They have the numbers, they have the quality, and now the commercialization bit comes in. So President's Cup was held in Nigeria. They won. The second edition will be held in Kenya at Trademark Hotel, and it has a very interesting format this time round. If a team has 3 players, so if a team has players from different countries, the registration money is subsidized. So you team up a player from Kenya, Tanzania, Mauritius, and you form a team.
Why umeruka jirani bwana? They don't speak
Of course,
English.
we have our friends at Tanzania. Of course, their Scrabble is picking up as well. Uganda have been formidable competitors. They've even won a local tournament here. A Ugandan has won a local tournament. Not to mention that also a Nigerian has won a local tournament in Kenya. So it fosters also unity among the playing nations, because you have friends all over the world and you can team up with anyone to play Scrabble. So we hope, I think there'll be about 100, almost 100 players have already signed up for the President's Cup, and it shall be an ongoing event running parallel to the African Youth Scrabble Championship.
All right, Africa Youth Scrabble Championship. Sasa wewe ndo representative. How well are you prepared for this? And you can see you're getting information about the coaching and how to push this level of the sport up. Vanessa, tell us about it.
About
the Africa Youth Championships, because sasa nyinyi ndo mtavaa you're going to that is your competition now.
Okay, so for me, the National Youth Scrabble Championships are not just any competition. These competitions are tough. When I say tough, they are just a stiff competition. Like, everyone is fighting for this opportunity to go to Malaysia, and I know that very many schools have practiced, they read that. But personally, for me, I am prepared, I am well prepared, I am confident enough. Our school, we are so ready for these tournaments, and we believe that, and we know that we will bring back the Scrabble 1 trophy back to our school.
But how many players are you looking at as a Kenyan federation for the Africa Youth Championships? What's its team size?
We are 15, but being the host, we want to up the name to as many as 40, just to enhance our chances of winning. As I said, of course, with the Nigerians at play, but I think we can match them, because the younger generation are learning almost on the same platform. And also just to mention that what has given us strength to even push harder is that we got registered finally as a federation. I think all the interviews we've been coming here, we've been seeking audience, mutusaidie, serikali saidia to registered. But
finally,
now
it's been hard.
Yes, Kenya, Scrabble Kenya is now a registered federation. And we are happy that finally, after so many years, we can now sit on the table.
So mkienda trip, mjue mtalipiwa na serikali. So Olive, let me come to you. The university scene.
Yeah.
And also looking at, championships, for example, the President's Cup that's coming up. What's the way to, keep the momentum and build up towards that?
The best advice I could give is just trying to study as many words as I can before the AYSC, the Youth Championship, and the tournaments in August. Because in university, I can say I got a real culture shock. People really know how to play. People really know how to play. And there are so many young upcoming players right now in Kenya. And it's just very competitive. So you have to keep up with them. You have to study those word lists. You create your own cheat sheets. You just do anything. You try your best to practice.
And she's not mentioning that she's actually, I think you won. She just from winning a tournament.
The latest one I podiumed at third. It was a university tournament, a youth tournament. It's called TAX. The TAX. I managed to get a number 3. And I really upped my ratings.
Okay.
And you also won the Lexi World.
There's a league for this league we play mostly for just practice and fun. We play around Nairobi. I managed to win the intermediate division first place, and I got promoted to the Premier Division.
Aha. Very well. So that means the competition is going to be tough where you are. Thank you very much. Oliver Lila, Vanessa Mwangi, safe journey back to school. See you back in August over the holidays for the AYC, Africa Youth Scrabble Championship. And Limo Kipkemo is the president of Scrabble Kenya. Now that you're fully registered, final call to people to come and witness this. It's only that, wait, Scrabble, unajua si ni watu wa kelele bana. Mashabiki hakuna.
Yeah, so Scrabble, you can't cheer, but what normally happens in tournaments is that we have a projector room or a viewing room. So the top games are actually projected on the wall, and that's why you can make as much noise as possible. And I think that's why Nigerians beat us, because we can't match them in terms of cheering for Scrabble. And it's usually very heated because you see someone's rack, what they have, the words they have, and you see their mistakes, and you feel bad when they don't capitalize on their moves. So it's an interesting affair, but we'll set up that for both AYC, President's Cup, and also the National Youth Championship.
Asante sana.